It's 7.
Beyond concern.
We could rise for the pledge, please. You okay? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we could remember a couple of folks here, Jamie Cody and David Paul. And we could remember our men and women in the armed forces. And of course, as we always do every meeting, remember those that have been affected with the virus. Thank you. Okay. Sean, you're going to have to tell us where you would like this gentleman to stand. He's going to give us a brief presentation. This is Kurt, and he's with. He'll give you a little bit of background, I hope, and but he's our emergency management coordinator.
Thank you, Mary Jo. So my name is Kurt Hahn, and I am your emergency management coordinator for the town of Highlands and the village of Highland Falls. And today I'm here to talk about the water crisis that we have in the community. News of the Highlands put out a great presentation or post on their Facebook with some tips about conserving water. Mayor Joe's been putting out text alerts to the community daily on conserving water, and the situation is becoming pretty dire as there's no significant rain in the forecast. So it's everybody's responsibility to do the best they can to conserve water at this time. So what does that mean? That means obviously no unnecessary use of water for watering grass, plants, outdoor, which we should be reducing that anyway because we're going into the cooler season. We need to not be washing our cars in the community. And one of the greatest concerns is making sure we have enough water for fire protection. So by everybody doing their part, we can help stave off the crisis. Working with Mayor Joe, been discussing every possible contingency, including I've been working as an intermediary between West Point and the county to work on possibly looking at additional outlets to bring water into the community like has been done in the past. West Point does have the capability of supplementing the supply here in the village through turning on a valve, but there's some things that have to be done before we get to that point, and working in great coordination with the county engineers, the health department, and hopefully we'll get some rain before we have to get to that point, but just in case we have that as a possible solution. I'll open up for any questions.
Kurt, let me follow up on you.
Sure.
And then we'll see if there's questions.
Sure.
So I'd like to just set this up where you are.
Sure.
You want me to move? No, you're fine. So I did this for everyone that's here, which most of you, all of you probably already know, but it also is a good tool for the public. So forget this here. The village of Highland Falls, I'm sorry, but Brian, we talked about this morning, okay? The village of Highland Falls, so here's Bog Meadow. Here's Lower Bog. Here's Jim's Pond. This is shut down, this is shut down, and this is dry. Several years ago I went to Black Rock and asked could we, who owns Jim's Pond, and asked if we could have their overflow. A couple meetings, this and that, the answer was yes, and we put a, for lack of a word, a ditch, it's probably not the right word, from here over to Upper Bog, thus capturing 100,000 gallons a day, which was good. That was a nice deal. This over here is Glycerin Hollow. When you start up Storm King Mountain, go around that first turn after you pass the golf course, you'll see a water flow there. That's Glycerin Hollow that comes down. It goes under the road by the state salt shed, goes under 9W, comes right over, and comes right over to our creek. So that was another avenue that we would get water. There was a lot of times we'd shut these down especially if this was running. Why use this when this is automatically coming to us anyway? This is dry, Glycerin Hollow. What I want to point out by the green here is what you just spoke about, and Jim McDonald and a couple other folks, Kevin Hurst and other folks, we worked with West Point when we had a situation before, and we were able to get some water into our creek from a West Point pipe that's right here that comes from Long Pond. Are we picking this up? Thank you. So that's, Kurt used the right word, dire. I mean, this is not good. So that's what these pins are. Upper Bog, Lower Bog, Jim's Pond, Glycerin Hollow. Okay. So we're hoping that West Point sees the need down here and helps us out. We'll wait another couple days and see what happens, Kurt. We're down to 40%. It seems to be going down around 2% every couple days. So soon we're going to be into the 30s, which is that's really bad. Our tanks are full. You're right about fire. We've been lucky for a long time now that we don't have major fire. But if we would have a major fire and multiple fire hydrants had to open, there's water there for the fire, but when the fire is put out, we have a problem. And I just want to also then show you this. This here is the old dam before we enlarged Bog Meadow. Whenever you would go up there on a nice clear day and the water is very clean up there, if you could look down 4 to 5 feet, you would see the top. Now, the walls are above. That's to send a point that it's bad. It's 8.5 feet down. This picture here shows you an island out here is usually totally up to the beginning of the trees underwater. It's not underwater any longer. I don't say all this and show all this for anyone to be scared. I'll take care of that part. I'm doing well at it every day. We'll get through this, and we will get the help. And as you said, I was going to give this later, but as you said, I guess it was in the News of the Highlands, but don't leave your water on, let me just go through this very quick. Don't leave your water on while rinsing dishes. I kind of have a habit of doing that. Check your faucets, your pipes, your hoses for leaks. The littlest leak, you'd be surprised how much that adds up to. Plus it adds onto your water bill, so for that alone you'd want to get it fixed. Anyway. Shorter showers. You know, people laugh at that, but shorter showers. Don't sing while you're in there. Take a shower, get out and sing. Turn off your water while brushing your teeth or shaving. A lot of times we leave that faucet on while we're shaving or something, or, you know, dishwashers and our washing machines. I went to this. I do wash when I figure I have a half a load. Now I'm doing it when I have a full load. Check your toilets for leaks. That seems to be a common place where leaks are found.
Got to jiggle that handle a little more.
Got to jiggle it. And somebody put on Facebook, which I thought was a good. Sometimes you don't hear anything, but it is leaking. Put a drop of red dye or green, blue, something you have in the kitchen.
Food coloring.
Food coloring. Thank you. And just let it sit there. Don't flush the toilet. In a few hours, go back, see if your bowl is blue or red.
And they said check the tank, I guess, too.
And check the tank.
Yeah.
You know, I install, you know, the hardware stores sell these shower savers. They control how much water comes out, which is, if you have one of these on there, it's less than normal. So those are those are ways. They might sound small, but believe me, they're not small. And it's funny because every 6 months when the water bills go out, we get folks that come in complaining about their high water bill. And 9 out of 10 times it turns out to be a leak. So there are leaks out there.
Absolutely.
There are leaks out there in homes, so if we could just pay attention to that. Kurt, I enjoy working with you. You called me, and I appreciate that. And we're in touch every day, and we'll stay that way.
I know you're laser focused on the issue, with the safety of the communities at stake.
Yeah, totally.
And as we approach the, drought emergency declaration, everything's being done that, needs to be done to help protect the safety and well-being of the community. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Be safe going home.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Okay,
Take care.
we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
so
Thank
the
you.
EPA
Okay.
has a water website that will also inform the people how much water you lose during a leak, whether it's a dripping faucet, a toilet, etc., as does the New York State DEC. So if anybody wants to actually go and take a look at that, they can really calculate how much water they will lose with just a drip.
Some of you guys have seen this. We have a chart downstairs, and it's got the smallest dot, and then they get a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger. And next to it, it is 24 hours with that little dot, how many gallons. It wakes you up when you look at it. So we have those downstairs, and I'll make copies and put them outside on the counter. That's good stuff. Okay. Thank you. All right, first on the agenda is to approve minutes. They were written on October the 5th at a regular meeting. Motion? Motion by trustee Livesey, second by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Elise? I want you to earn your keep.
Yes, you want me to read?
Yes,
the rest of
ma'am.
it? All right.
This is, so everyone knows, this is requesting that the county forgive our taxes off of Bog Meadow.
Right, which they do generally.
They always do, yes. But we have to do this every year.
So whereas the Village of Highland Falls is the owner of real property in the town of Highlands identified on the tax map as follows, Section 1, Block 1, Lot 2. And whereas the real property is devoted solely to public use as a part of the village water system as a catchment and reservoir, and whereas the real property tax law, Section 406, subsection 3, provides that the authority for each taxing district in which the municipality-owned property used in such manner is located, to grant a whole exemption from the real property taxes levied by the taxing district, and whereas such exemption for the Village of Highland Falls water supply site real property would provide a direct immediate benefit for the taxpayers and water users of the Village of Highland Falls, which would enhance real property ownership and exemplify a spirit of intermunicipal cooperation between the County of Orange and the village, now therefore be it resolved that this Board of Trustees, on behalf of the Village of Highland Falls, its taxpayers, water system users, and citizens, hereby petition the County of Orange to grant a whole exemption from Orange County real property taxes commencing for the calendar year 2022 on the parcel of real property in the town of Highlands identified as follows, Section 1, Block 1, Lot 2. And it is further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to each of the following to request their attention to this petition, processing of same, and affirmative action. Honorable L. Stephen Brescia, Chairman, Orange County Legislature. Honorable Katie Bonelli, Party Leader. Honorable Michael D. Paddock, Party Leader. Honorable Michael Amo, Party Leader. The adoption of the foregoing resolution was moved by Trustee
Trustee Ramos,
and seconded by Trustee
DeSalvo.
DeSalvo, and duly put to a vote on roll call, which resulted as follows. Want to do roll call?
Trustee Howard?
Aye.
Trustee Livesey?
Aye.
Trustee DeSalvo?
Yes.
Trustee Ramos?
Aye.
Mayor D'Onofrio?
Aye, motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, Elise?
Yes.
Thank you very much. All right, next on the agenda is to approve a member, Hannah Nyberg, pending results of a physical. This is from the recommendation of Fire Chief Eric Smith.
So moved. Second.
So move, trustee DeSalvo, trustee Howard, pending the results of the physical for Hannah Nyberg for the Highland Falls Fire Department. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have a request from the Highland Falls Fort Montgomery Central School District for Roll Park baseball field from April 19, 2021 through June 15, 2021 for varsity, JV, and modified baseball teams. Proper insurance has been given, and everything seems to be in order.
So moved. Second.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo, second by trustee Howard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, discussion on DPW staffing. This is easy. Right now, you know that we have 2 openings down at the highway department that we have chosen until we see where we are with our finances not to fill. What I'm asking is, can we have a maintenance worker's position as one of those 2 that's empty. We just had a laborer take his standard CDL to drive the big trucks, especially with snow coming. I would ask you, can we open it up, advertise per the union in-house, see who puts in, see if anyone puts in, we interview them, if they're qualified, we move them into that position. But then we don't fill the laborer's position. So we still stay 2 positions open in the highway department.
You need a motion?
I do. Are
Motion.
you okay? Okay. You looked at me. You okay? You got a question? Okay, I'm sorry. Motion by trustee Livesey, second by trustee Howard, that we advertise in-house first for a maintenance worker. Is that correct, Gina? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much. We have bills and claims for fiscal year 2020-2021 of $116,051.45. I know all the bills, all of you looked at the bills downstairs. Motion to pay the bills.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Howard. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, I'll do this quick. We'll go around the table. So the virus numbers. Orange County cases, 13,036. 13,036. In the hospital, 38. Deaths, 503. It's little by, it used to go up quite a bit, and it still is, 503. Now, I want to note that out of the 13,036, since Friday, that number increased to 13,036 by 53, just in Orange County. I will tell you that the bulk of those 53 cases came from Palm Tree, Middletown, and Monroe. The bulk of those cases. Our numbers, Town of Highlands, Highland Falls, Fort Montgomery, not West Point. Highland Falls, Fort Montgomery is at 272, and since I gave these numbers the last time, that's up 13. So I can only give you the numbers. Okay, Halloween. I want to make something clear. The mayor nor the village board is canceling Halloween. I'm not sure we could if we wanted to. We're not canceling Halloween. So things that have been on Facebook, I let them go. I could have answered every one of them, but then you get in this thing with Facebook. So I don't say anything. It would have been nice if people had called here, but that's okay. So Halloween is on Saturday, October 31. The Village of Highland Falls will have Halloween. And so I'm asking for the following safety tips to be the best you can adhere to. I'd like to see trick-or-treaters go out, you know, they're little guys, little girls, little boys, you know, and it gets dark, it'll be, I think we set the clocks back, right, soon?
Yeah.
November 1st.
Yeah.
Oh, not till November?
Yeah.
Also, it's after Halloween this year.
What's that night?
Okay. Something like 3 to 7:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 7:30. Will anyone be arrested after 7:30? No. You know, I gotta make sure I say everything, I guess. If you're not going to participate in trick-or-treating as far as giving candy out, maybe, don't have your porch light on. A lot of folks like to have their porch light on, but on Halloween, I would like you to, if you're giving out something, put your porch light on. If you're not, maybe you don't have your porch light on. I would ask that folks, if the weather's fine, that you come out onto the porch and give out the candy, or maybe you stand in your driveway or your yard, okay? The county doctor says that costume masks are not enough. She'd like to see a mask. I know it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but a mask and then your Superman mask, if possible. It's hard. The porch lights, I just said, try to limit, if you're going out with your neighbor and walking it, try to limit it to 10 people in a group. I'd like to see the homeowners or renters drop the candy in the bag. Don't hand it to the child, just drop it in the bag.
Mr. Mayor, we're talking sealed candy.
Sealed candy wrapped, which most is, if not all, but I know some, you can find candy that isn't, I guess. Don't do a bowl where kids can just take out of the bowl. Try not to do that. And the last thing I'll say about trunk or treat. It might go a little against what we talked about. If the board's comfortable with allowing, if there's an organization out there, it has to be an organization that does this, spearheads it. If an organization wants to do trunk or treat, they can do it here in the Village of Highland Falls around Roe Park on the road. And instead of being 6 feet, that car, 6 feet, then another car, I would ask it to be 8 feet. No one's going to go over there with a tape measure. I'm just asking that it be 8 feet. You stand by your trunk, a car comes up with kids in it, trick or treat, you walk over to the car window and drop candy in a bag. I don't want to confuse anyone. Does that make sense? Does it make sense? If anyone wants to do that, we will facilitate you doing around Roe Park on October 31. Okay? Any questions?
Do you need a motion for that, or?
Just what time frame would you want to put it out there for?
For the trunk or treat?
Yeah.
Well, let's try to, I don't know, can we keep everything the same, sometime 3 to 7:30? After 7:30, the big guys start coming out like I used to. When I was in 8th grade or something. I can't remember. Okay, so let's say that. 7:30, it's kind of done. I'm not sure anyone, there's not a lot of time, but if someone has time and they want to organize something, it's okay. Jim, what did you ask?
Do you need a vote for that?
Not really, unless one of the trustees objects or has any,
Yeah.
They'd like to add.
I do have a concern about that, as I did in the beginning. I took a ride around the village, and I know I'm gonna get bashed on this, but it is what it is. And, COVID-19 is here, and, we're taking precautions, which we should be. There's a lot of areas, there's a lot of municipalities that are not going to have trunk or treat this year. I went around, we counted at least 50 homes just in Highland Falls that are set up for Halloween right now. I don't think there's anything wrong at all with some of the people that wanted to participate in trunk or treat to either be a sponsor, to walk with the children, or go to different houses with the children. Trick-or-treating is a traditional thing of walking around, going to different homes that are out there. A lot of municipalities that hold trunk-or-treat, they don't hold it on Halloween. so that these homes that are in the areas of their community are out there to hand out candy and to keep the tradition going on. Most of the times, if you have trunk or treat that's out there, that's it at the end of the night. There's no, after that, maybe there's a few kids that do go around trick or treating, but the majority of the kids are ready to head home after that. And again, I think right now, I've seen a couple things that, with groups of children that have been together in a close area. As a matter of fact, I was up at Roe Park today. I won't mention what it was, but I seen masks down like this. This is not protecting yourself. It's not doing anything. The new basketball court is outstanding. I'll use the word outstanding. I've been up there, loaded with children, no mask. So we have to keep the precautions together. Are we saying that the kids that are going to go around not having trunk or treat are going to keep their mask on or off? Who knows? But what I am saying is right now, there are things going on where we say to ourselves, well, if they're going to have this, why can't we have that? And if they're going to have this, why can't we have that? And I just think that if COVID-19 is out there and we're going to have a group, I don't think that's comfortable. I just don't think it's comfortable. I don't think it's that bad to say, hey, you know what? We're just not going to do that this year. And as the mayor said, there's still going to be Halloween. There's a lot of homes out there. I've grown up in this community. I have not, except for this year, seen so many homes that are decorated for Halloween right now. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of houses that are set up for Halloween. So it's the board's decision if you want to have trunk or treat. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say nay or anything else like that, but I just think the smart thing is to be able to say, hey, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't do that this year. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
I think, yes, if there's a dissent of not having it, then maybe you want to poll the board to see if the board feels that it should be canceled, or whether it's just Merv who's, I think that's what I heard Merv say.
You know, again, I mean, you know, if there's a decision to make trunk or treat, I mean, it's all for the children, and if people that know me know I care a lot for the children in this community. Never be denied of that. I do a lot. But I think there's a concern that's out there, and if there's a concern that might be out there, the best scenario is to say, let's not have any concerns.
What, Merv, let me just say.
But that's all
I understand. No, I'll just do it, I'll say this and then we'll do a vote. And I wish we didn't. The precaution of me saying, stay in your car, the car pulls up to the trunk. And the person that decorated their trunk puts the candy in the bag, because the window's down, the kid's sitting in the back seat. I was thinking that might be, that would work, but let's.
But then again, in New Jersey, they tried a situation like that, and the father took off while the boy was
Yeah.
while the boy was hanging outside the car, and that didn't work out well.
Yeah, I hear you. Jim?
So, Mr. Mayor, we had a group in the town petition to do trunk or treat, and I would hope that if this passes tonight, that they reach out to us so they can do it, because it was an organization that was going to do it.
They did do a petition.
Okay. So can I, if there's an appetite to have a motion that allows, of course, trick or treat, home to home, that stays the same. Again, I read the rules. And then also along with that, allow trunk or treat at Roe Park. If an organization wants to spearhead the operation, which I would talk to them, of course, saying 8 feet each car, you put the candy in the bag. If we're up to that, that would be the motion.
So moved.
All right, Jimmy, Trustee Ramos, Trustee Gustavo. Okay, could I, all in favor? Aye, opposed?
Nay.
Nay, okay. All right, Merv, I hear you, loud and clear.
This is really, my way of thinking, parental responsibility.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that we have a virus, you know the rules, you know the regulations, enforce them.
Yeah. Okay, let me get done with my list here. This Saturday, you're all invited, October the 24th at 11 o'clock, just up here at the corner of Schneider and Center, for a dedication to Pastor Carter, who passed away maybe a year ago, renaming the street symbolically, if you will, with a nice little dedication. His children are going to be there, they're adults, children, and I think it's going to be very nice. So it's this Saturday, the community is also invited. It's this Saturday at the corner of Center and Snyder. The weather's going to be nice. I kind of wish it was going to rain for the reservoir, but that's not going to happen. So we'll have good weather for this ceremony right here, which is very well deserved. He was a great guy. He was a command sergeant major, doctor, reverend, Moses Carter. So he had a lot of titles.
Sports fan,
What's that?
big sports fan.
Big sports fan. Okay, thank you. Central Hudson, I'll read a brief statement from Central Hudson. I must talk to them 3 times a day about Mountain Avenue. As I said at the last meeting, sitting right here, I can no longer ask folks to have patience. It's beyond patience, but it is, you know, I hate this when people say it, but it is what it is. So, this is what Central Hudson tells me. We are in the home stretch. About a week and this was written on Friday, this past Friday. We are on the home stretch, about a week and a half left of gas work. Then the pavers move in. Be assured, the road will be in much better shape than it was prior to our project. We are going to extend, this is something I don't want to say I demanded, but I had a discussion with Central Hudson that they go past where they were going to start, where they were legally supposed to start, maybe 70 feet on that stretch when you come down Mountain Avenue, and you, just before the first house on the right, it's been bad for years, just potholes, and you can't go around it or anything. I have them paving that area too, which really belongs to DOT. So we are going to extend our paving up the hill to clean up the poor road condition north of the project. Please remind the village board and public that there have been several leaks on this stretch of roadway over the past few years, and this gas main replacement will alleviate the need for any future repairs while increasing overall safety. So, normally right now I'd say just have a little bit more patience, but as I said, I can't say that, but before this month, I'm probably going to get run over, but by the end of this month, it's going to be done. So, that's where we are with that. Tomorrow starts our paving, which we're all happy about. Tomorrow morning, Main Street will be done. Veterans Way, Webb Lane, and Tobin's. Wednesday, Drew, Readout, Wyandotte, Row, Berry Hill, and Oak Avenue. And Thursday, Satterley Road, Laurel Lane, and Wyatt Terrace. If they fall a little behind, we end up Friday, but I see Friday at the end of the day everything being done. Questions?
There's no rain in the forecast.
And there's no rain. I wish there was, but there isn't. Any questions? Okay. Paving we did. Okay. So, in November, which is coming, doesn't seem possible, but it is, on Veterans Day, invitations are going out, but I want the public to also be invited this way and through the News of the Highlands. But as history and as research tells us, we only had one Medal of Honor winner here in the village of Highland Falls during World War II. His name was Captain Robert Bobby Brown. He actually lived right up here on Church Street. He was a Medal of Honor winner, We just found out about this. A few months ago. 8, I'm going to say it a couple of times, 8 Purple Hearts. 8.
Wow.
Exactly. 1 Bronze Star and 2 Silver Stars. This is a hero, in every sense of the word. His life story, I believe maybe Mary Jane will do something, but I have 2 folks that are going to be at the ceremony that are going to give us a lot of background on Bobby Brown, Captain Brown. People will end up researching him by Googling his name. You go on, you Google, and the stuff that comes up. And it even, I only found out today, it even says that back then, after World War II in the 50s, that the village of Highland Falls and West Point never took the time to honor him. I don't understand, and maybe don't need to understand. We're going to honor him. And a nice banner will hang down there. These are the Purple Heart colors, and this is going to be a very, very nice ceremony. Thank you. Banner, okay. Cell tower, cell antennas. We're not going to have a cell tower, I've said that before here, but we are going to have some antennas put on the roof of this building and in the area that we own as far as the Senior Citizen Center. It's starting to move. I promised the residents here that we would have better communications, and that is exactly what's going to happen. And so I'm working with Elise. We're working with the gentleman Clint. You remember Clint? Smith.
Yeah.
Smith.
Yeah.
I call him Clint all the time. He used to work for these companies, so he kind of knows, the in and outs. And of course, like we always do, there's an escrow to take care of whatever our attorney puts time in, and also for Clint. I thought it was, I kind of laughed at this. I saw this today in the New York Post, and this is actually for real. The government has awarded a 14.1, which will probably end up being double, $1 million contract to bring a cell tower to the moon, so that when astronauts go there, they'll be able to use their cell phones. It's not a joke. Now, if they can do it, if we can put one on the moon, I can put one on this roof, so that we can use our cell phones. Amazing.
Maybe they'll get a telemarketing call from another planet.
I swear to God, this is
You
a
never
true
know,
story.
and then Mars might call them,
Does this mean that we're not gonna ever have a cell tower?
No, because it's going on the moon now.
I know, but you know the expenses. Does this mean we're never gonna be looking at a cell tower?
As long as we're here.
I think this is,
I don't know how to,
I think this will cover the village,
Mhm.
the dead spots in the village.
Okay, good.
So it enhances the cell service without erecting a tower.
At least in the village. Now, I don't know that that'll cover Fort Montgomery and the rest, everything, but, yeah.
my last thing, and we'll move around. My last thing is this. I met with Cindy Cutson on site of what we call the ALO property. In fact, we met on a couple different sites last week. And I'm in the process of coming up with a committee that Cindy Cutson and I agreed that it should be done, of local residents that will help design, have input into walking trails on the property. There are a couple of areas that you can access the property walking. And there's some old rooms down there, old buildings that are very, a lot of history from that property. And there's some beautiful vistas where there possibly could be some trails, beautiful vistas. So I'll be naming that committee soon to work with Scenic Hudson so that we have input into the design of the park. Okay? That's it.
Let's talk about the art show.
The art show, if you didn't come down on the beautiful day that we had yesterday, it was a perfect day. The farmer's market was going on, for which only has one more week, I think. And so please come out, even though it's their last week. There seemed to be more folks there yesterday. I did notice that cadets, the second weekend in a row, are coming off post a little bit, wearing masks, the ones I saw. But the art show, the Walk Hill Art show took place here, where these folks came around 8:30 yesterday morning. They had around 2.5 hours to go wherever they wanted to and paint, and come back around 11:30, and the judging went on. There had to be 14, 15 paintings. They were, not being an artist, they were absolutely gorgeous. Two of them, to me, looked like photographs, but they weren't, they were paintings. Some of the river, some of the library, some of Sacred Heart, Holy Innocents. There was 2 or 3 of the farmer's market, colors, absolutely beautiful. It was a great thing to have here in the village, and I've talked to the organizers, and they want to come back, and I want them to come back. And we can build on this. So, thank you.
Okay. The wastewater treatment facility, John Jones is department head. During the summer months, the existing belt filter press was completely dismantled and removed. The new tower belt filter press is now complete. Polymer system, the sludge feed pumps, and the discharge conveyor were all installed. As of July 27th, everything has been put back in order. On the 28th and 29th, there was training given by John Jones, David Hurst, and the maintenance person was Daniel Salter.
Good.
I want to thank the people for coming to the Fall Crafts Fair that was held down at the American Legion. People enjoyed themselves. People came in, there were craft people there. Talking about, on the streets about voting, people were talking about voting. I'm asking, please remember to vote. If you vote early, if you're going to vote by mail, or some of us who are going to go to the polls on the 3rd, please remember to vote. I'm hearing people saying, well, what's the sense of voting? It's your right. That's what makes the democracy. Please vote. That's it.
Thank you. And early voting starts in Cornwall for us. Early voting starts in Cornwall for us this Saturday.
24th.
At the ambulance building. So maybe after a few hours it might, I don't know. You go to the ambulance corps building in Cornwall, and folks from here and Fort Montgomery can vote there. Thanks. Jimmy?
Okay. Just to compound on Mr. Howard, in July down at the wastewater treatment plant, they processed 800,000, well, a little over 800,000 gallons. In August, it was a little over 700,000. And in September, they only did just under 600,000. The building department gave me their monthly report for September. They issued 31 permit applications. They had no operating permits issued. They did 11 C of Os. They did 23 building permit inspections. There was no fire inspections. They had 2 advisory notice violations issued, and 1 was completed. There were 11 municipal searches that were asked for, 1 zoning variance application, 6 FOIL requests, and 26 physical inspections. They're down 2 people down there. They just did hire a secretary. I spoke with her today. Wonderful person, great attitude. I think she's going to be asset to the building department down there. At the last meeting, I spoke briefly about some things that we can do with the geese. over at Roe Park. I did speak with somebody in the DPW department today. They are going for training for spraying, and this is also a spray that can be used to deter the geese. He's going on Wednesday, so he has this information. He's going to ask them if that also, what the course he's taking covers this. If not, he's going to find out what course he needs to take, and this is a great way to prevent the geese from coming back. Sort of makes their tummy upset, sours their belly, and it has a color that they see in the grass when it's sprayed, that when they see that color, they don't want to come back. So that's a good thing. Also, I have some information that I'll give to the board for you guys to look at about some solar parking lot lights. And maybe we can get them down where the farmer's market is and reduce our bill down there. And it might be another notch in our belt for getting that funds that are out there. And there is funds out there that can reduce its cost by 26%. They're really not that expensive, but they are expensive. You know what I mean? Because we're tight on the budget. So we can go over the prices, look into it, and see if there's any other entities out there that can help us with that. But I think it'd be a great look.
We need one more project, if the program is still going on, not knowing after this virus in the state, to capture a grant by doing one more project like the electric cars that we did and charging station. If we do this,
If this falls into the category, that'd be great. And if you want a visual example, where they put the new commuter lot down at the end of 6,
yeah, I saw that.
they have these lights there
I saw
in that parking lot. So if anybody wanted to take a look at it, they're not unsightly and they're green energy. And last thing, Mr. Mayor, everybody's starting to heat. It's getting cold out. O&R and,
Not me.
not yet, not until the 1st.
Not yet.
O&R and Central Hudson, you can go on their websites. It's about, gas, carbon monoxide, things like that, how to detect it and what you should do. So, go to their website. They also send these in your bill if you still get the paper bills. And please be careful with any space heaters as the weather gets colder.
Space heaters, God, I remember them for years ago. Thank you. Jimmy?
Yeah, a quick shout out to the West Point Island Falls Rotary, who have bi-weekly been doing work with the local food pantries. I know we had a huge food pantry delivery to Holy Innocents, was it this week?
This past week?
This past week.
Yeah.
So they're desperately in need, so if anyone in the community can contribute food and or funds, whatever you can do.
Yeah.
Continuing to walk around the community, kudos to folks who are tossing away their used masks and or gloves. Having hiked in a couple different areas around the community, it's remarkable where you find masks and gloves in the middle of nowhere. So please continue to throw those out. I know Trustee Livesey had brought up the basketball court. I had the opportunity to take my son to the park this weekend, and which is unusual that I had extra time, but I did, and the park looks actually great. Like the field looked great with the grass, and despite the little flock of geese that were over there, they were kind of keeping to their side. There was a little birthday party going on at the pavilion. Everybody had masks on.
Nice.
And kids were playing, and the park looked very clean, and the basketball court was amazing. So all the improvements that we were able to get done over there, I think, was really, really great, and the park is being utilized, which is what you want.
Nice.
So that's it.
Very nice, thank you.
Decent shot.
Mr. Murray?
Just like a couple things I want to say is, one is again about the basketball court. I stopped up there one day, I told you this, Mr. Mayor. There must have been 30 kids up there, 30 of them all playing basketball. And I asked if I could talk to them a second, and I said, well, how do you like this? They had a smile from ear to ear about the basketball court. They absolutely love it, and it's well overdue for them, up there. It's going to keep the kids busy. And Mr. Ramis, you're showing something to me that gives me a little interest there, because I know we have the lights there for the basketball court. And I would like to see those lights to go on again at night for the kids. If they choose to play at night down at the park, that's why they're there. And like for having maybe a tournament or something like that, I spoke to the kids and they just love the idea. And also, if we could somehow scratch up enough, I don't know how we can do it, but if we can, they would like a couple benches on both sides.
Okay.
So when they have
Okay.
teams, just, nothing big or anything else like that.
No,
Just
no,
one of
no.
them long
No,
benches
yeah.
for both sides. And I said, well, it's not gonna be in your way or anything like that. And then they laughed at me and said, no, that's why this line is here. And I said, oh, okay.
Okay.
So anyway, that's what they would like to have there.
There were benches there in the past.
Yeah, a long time
And
ago.
Right,
correct me if
right.
I'm wrong, Mr. Mayor, but we had the lights on and I think they got turned off around 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It might have been 9 or 10,
Yeah.
but great idea.
But that would be a nice thing for them. I spoke one time at a meeting about this, and I think we really need to look into this, and that's about the decibels on how loud music is. I have to tell you, and I think we all know, some of this music is getting out of hand, how loud it is. When you can hear the bass inside your house, with that boom, boom, we gotta figure something out with that. I mean, at least I don't know if there is a code in town law,
Yeah, this is
or
going
village
forward.
law.
Yeah.
We don't, we will talk to the police department, Merv, we probably should do something. We have to see what it is we have to do and how much it costs. But I know they need some type of instrument that picks up the decibel.
Yeah.
Right, but that's what we
So
need.
I can make it sound simple, it's like a little gun, but I don't know if it's simple like a little gun,
Right.
But let's talk to the police about this.
Mhm.
We probably should. Sometimes the cars, we've all seen this coming down here, but you can feel it in your stomach,
Yeah,
the bass. And the windows are up in the guy's car.
and then the other thing I just want to clarify, and it's just gonna take a second, I don't want anybody to be like, MERS doesn't want trunk or treat
No.
or anything like that. The only point that I'm trying to make out there is, for me, I hate this mask. I hate it. I don't like saying the word hate, it's a bad word, but I hate it. Numbers are going up. We're getting, I don't know, in my opinion, maybe a little relaxed now. It's not bad, things slowly opened up, but I think maybe we're rolling a little bit too fast. I just, and Mr. DeSalvo just told me that school will be opening up again in November, and I pray that school continues on. I know that Cornwall right now is doing very well in how they're doing it. But I want to get out of this here. This is not the new norm to Merv Livesey. It's not, and it will never be the new norm. I don't want to have these masks. I don't want to go to the gym with these masks. I don't want to go to a board meeting with these masks. I want to sit back up here. I want life to get back to the normal. That's what I want. And for me saying with the trunk or treat and all of that, believe me, I love the children. I love them, and if you know me, I do. But we have to be able to say to ourselves sooner or later, and not just that, the adults too, that no, we can't do this right now because this is right here. And I watch college football sports. I seen the Alabama game. If anybody just seen the Alabama game, the stadium was almost full. I don't understand that. I don't understand it. But, we have to be able to say sooner or later, we're going to get rid of this thing. We can't divide it. And that's all I have to say.
And get your flu shot.
And get your flu shot. I got mine a month ago.
May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
So moved by Jimmy Suttle, Lindsay, all in favor?
All right.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you
No
very much.
executive session.